All right, we're back for segment 2. We're going to try to shed some light on what it's like to be that support person for a Lularoe consultant. Once again, my name is John.
And I'm Blaze.
Yeah, see, we know our names. That's positive. We want to kind of jump in a little bit, though, and talk about the day-to-day life of supporting your wife or partner in this environment, this business. And Blaze, both of us have kind of a different way of supporting. I want to talk a little bit about your path with how you support your wife with Lularoe.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard the term Lulabro, some people like it, I like it. I find it,
I'm more of a Lula gentleman, but that's okay.
See, there you go, and I'm a Lulabro. So I'm a full-time Lulabro, and how it came to that, which means this is, helping my wife with this business is what we do. This is our bread and butter, so, and we do well. But how it kind of came to that was we're a military family who transplanted to San Diego. I did 10 years in the military as a Navy diver, finest rate in the United States Navy. And then after the military, we got out, and I was working with the city of San Diego as a police officer. You know what? I'm not afraid. I was a police officer briefly. And during that time, my wife, because it's the shift work, but my wife was kind of just done with the military. She's done with me kind of doing the dangerous things, and she kind of jokingly said, well, after I make X amount of dollars on a bonus check, and we'll talk about that later, but she was like, then you're going to retire and come and do it full time with me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, when you hit that, because it was a good number. And then she hit that pretty quickly, and so I had to and I made the decision, okay, I guess I'll stay home and do it full time with the wife. And it's, like I said, it's just been great because I get to stay at home and raise my family and still, do the hustle with the Lularoe biz. So that's where I come from.
And my experience is a little different in that I have a career that I still do, and my wife could make $84 million and buy me 12 Ferraris. By the way, we are not saying that'll happen. I'm just, throwing that out as an example. And I'd still continue to go do what I do, mainly because I really love what I do, and I think my wife functions better when I'm not around all the time. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way. That just is good for us. And so she's probably really not going to like that. It's a joke, Liz. It's a joke. That's my wife. But anyway, the point of the matter is I still have a role to play, even though I am not day-to-day doing inventory, doing a lot of the things that you do, but I still have a role to play. And that's kind of the subject of this video.
Yeah.
We're assuming if you're watching this and you are supporting a Lularoe consultant, you're probably wondering, what do I do? And we talked in the last segment, I didn't know it was a full-time job. I didn't know what to expect. And so one of the first things that hit me over the head with Lularoe was how much time my wife spent doing her business. And so that can be a real bad thing going forward, and it could sink your business before you even get started. So we kind of want to shed some light on what a consultant does.
More realistic expectations rather than like, oh, it's a part-time gig and she's going to always be around and do the whole thing, because it's not. Because, I don't know about Lindsay, but, when she's at home, there's a lot of times when she's not really at home. She's still working because all the social media, which is just beyond me. But yeah, it's social media, it's keeping up with inventory, it's, obviously sales and managing a team if that's what you choose to do.
Well, I think too, for me, if I were just to give you a snapshot of what my week looks like, by the way, every consultant has a different method, potentially. My wife typically does a live sale a week, and if you don't know what that is, if you've ever looked on Periscope or Facebook Live, they're holding up numbers and they're holding up items. I always think that's funny. I don't know why, but that's what they do. That's how they sell. That's a live sale. It takes a couple hours. Sometimes you do each piece and you stop and you come back and you're answering comments and questions. And you say, well, what do I do during a live show? Well, what I do is either A, take the kids and get them as far away as possible, or on occasion, I have jumped in on a live sale. Now, it's pretty weird since I have trouble distinguishing color, so I'm not very good, but my wife likes the company. That's one example. Some people do album sales where they take all the pictures and right there, album sales. Wow, my wife can be literally as stressed as I've ever seen her getting those albums ready. It takes hours and hours, and then you got to put them up, and sometimes Facebook, the albums get all slid around and those issues. But once the albums are up, Then it's managing all the comments and marking down who's sold. And then probably the most typical is the pop-up.
Yep.
Either you're going somewhere or it's in your own house. And there, my kids should not be at a pop-up typically. And I don't like to be at a pop-up. No offense to any of my wife's customers. They're all wonderful. But once again, I don't have a lot to contribute other than a few snarky jokes. And that doesn't always help with sales. So a busy week. And then the days you don't have something, you're managing your inventory, you're checking your social media, you're posting things. So once again, I suggest and getting some sort of business hours established early. Now, I say that as a complete hypocrite.
Yep, me too.
Because my wife and I have not established business hours for her. It'll be really good to support your wife to help her with business hours, because some customers, they're amazing, but they like answers and they like them very quickly, which is good. But at the same time, if your wife establishes business hours, then I think that allows her to kind of control a little bit about what she does. We're really not there yet. And just a little background, we've been in Lularoe. My wife's been a Lularoe consultant for just about a year now. And so we still haven't got there. Other people, it may fit your lifestyle a lot better to establish that early.
Yeah, I've read the 4-hour work week, and I just don't implement it. So there's, but the point I wanted to make is that no matter whether you're full-time like me, going to do it full-time, or John, I just recently went full-time because I was working with the city of San Diego, but even when I was part-time, the biggest thing for me was like, well, okay, it's women's clothing, so how can I help? But just loading the dishwasher, taking the kids, like you said, just anything that can help kind of take something off her plate, whether it be like for the albums, I'm not a Facebook, like a live guy at all. You're lucky to get me on this, but so I don't deal with the live stuff, but I'll take photos for the albums. So whatever you can do, and if you're business savvy or you have marketing experience, whatever you have your own individual unique experiences that can help. You just have to find what you can help and complements what she's already doing, and just bring them together so that you guys can both be successful.
Plus, you get really good at a sport I call Lularoe Tetris. The IKEA bag, that blue bag right there. Not everybody uses those, but they're cheap, and you're going to get really good at carrying them out to the car, stacking them, figuring out where you're going to put these racks. That's always fun. Are you a racks on top, racks on bottom type of person? You'll get. That is a big way to support.
Speed or safety.
Yeah,
rack on top or rack on bottom.
I mean, literally, and then, if you're like me, your wife will throw everything back in after a pop-up, but it won't meet your expectations. So that's kind of a fun little conversation as well. So there is a lot of things you can do. I think the big thing you realize, it goes back to one of the topics we had in the first segment. This is a real business. And if I had to come, it took me 4 months or so to come into this. It's either you're half in and don't do well, and you're going to hate every minute of it and not reap the rewards of what Lularoe can do, or you're all in and you're realistic about time and how much time goes into it, and then I think it just opens the door to the potential of this.
Yeah.
Your wife has been highly successful. She is a trainer with I don't know how many people under her, and in a little over a year.
It's almost 200 people in total for the team, but yeah.
And my wife just made trainer in also in less than a year. The point of the matter is, I don't even know if that's normal. I can't say that you can go watch this and your wife will do all those things, but it doesn't matter. You can be really successful in whatever path you go, as long as you're 100% in and know it's a lot of work. And we've been both fortunate. Both of our wives really get after it. They put those videos out there. They interact with people. It's a natural thing for them. And bottom line, I think they knew at the end that they had to work hard to get there.
Yep. Yeah, and it wasn't just. It's a rough one. It's not like we talked about earlier. It's not just we're gonna do this and here comes the Ferrari or anything. Like if anything, I want to stress is that there's realities involved. And I don't know if your wives are going to try to blow smoke initially to kind of like, well, it's just going to be part-time. If they're taking it seriously, it's going to be the longest part-time job in history, I guess, because it's a legitimate business. And it comes with everything that a legitimate business comes with. So,
well, it goes back to realistic expectations. If somebody in your path has told you that Lularoe is, a gold mine,
Yeah,
that,
it's not easy
that all
money.
these suckers haven't figured out yet, then they're not giving you the straight scoop. And that is not anything negative about Lularoe. That's just being honest. It is a business, and I know I've said that too much.
And that's something Lularoe is upfront about
Sure.
too. It's not a magic wand to where it's
Yeah.
oh yeah, you made it now.
Yeah.
It's hard work.